Hello to all my story lovers. Welcome back in Storytime channel. I'm Pallavi reading interesting stories for you. Now, today's story name is Finding Dory. This is very interesting story. Before go to the story, please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Now let's read the story. Dory was a little blue tang. She lived with her parents in a beautiful coral cave surrounded by sea grass. From a very young age, Dory had trouble remembering things. Hi, I am Dory, she would say when she met someone new. And then she would tell them that she had short term memory loss. Dory's parents worried about their forgetful daughter and did everything they could to stop her from getting lost. But one day, Dory got separated from her parents and couldn't find her way back home. Before long, she was lost and alone. It was getting dark, so Dory swam under a rock and tried to sleep. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. She sang quietly to herself as she closed her eyes. Dory just kept on swimming and swimming, getting further and further away from her home. The time passed. Dory grew up, but she still asked every fish she met if they had seen her parents. None of them had. Hi, I have lost my family, Dory would say. Can you help me? Where did you see them last? The fish would ask. Well, funny story, but I forgot. Poor Dory had forgotten where she came from and why she was lost. One day, while Dory was swimming along, she looked up and saw a boat speed by a bow. Just then she swam headfirst into a clownfish who was yelling something about his son Nemo. They took him away. The clownfish cried, I have to find the boat. A boat? Said Dory. Hey, I have seen a boat. Dory and the clownfish, whose name was the Merlin, swam off towards the boat in search of Nemo. One year later, long after Merlin and Dory had brought Nemo back home, the three friends still lived together on the coral reef. They had a happy and colorful home and had lots of fun together. Sometimes Dory would swim away on her own, so Merlin and Nemo had to keep a close eye on her. Dory was very happy and had forgotten to ask for help to find her parents. Merlin and Nemo were all the family she needed. One day, Nemo's school teacher, Mr. Ray, took his class to watch the stringers migrating back home. Dory went along as a teaching assistant. It was a wonderful sight. Hundreds of stringers flapping their huge wings and singing as they swam. Dory was amazed. Mr. Ray warned his class not to get too close to the stingrays because their flapping caused a strong current in the water called an undertow. The undertow could sweep any little fish away. But her amazement, Dory forgot Mr. Ray's warning. She swam too close to the stingrays, and before anybody could help, she was swept away in the undertow. Dory's world spun around her and then faded to black. When Dory opened her eyes, Nemo, Mr. Ray, and the students were peering down at her. Mr. Ray told the children to give Dory some room. As her eyes fluttered open, Dory quietly murmured something. Only Nemo heard it. The jewel of Morro, California. Nemo repeated. Later, back home, Nemo reminded Dory what she had murmured as she was waking up. It took Dory a moment to realize what it meant, but suddenly she knew. The jewel of Morro Bay was her home. She remembered her parents. My family, Dory cried. I remember my family. All these sudden memories sent Dory into a spin. She swam straight to the edge of the reef. Merlin and Nemo chased after her. I have a family, Dory called back to them. They don't know where I am. Let's go. Dory, California's all the way across the ocean, said Merlin. Dory stopped swimming and looked back at her friends. Please, she said, all I knew is that I missed him. I didn't know what that felt like. Do you know what that feels like? Merlin looked at Nemo, the son he once lost across the ocean. Yes, said Merlin, I know what that feels like. Please, Merlin, said Dory, I can't find them on my own. I'll forget. Please help me find my family. Yeah, Dad, added Nemo. You can get us all the way across the ocean, right? No, answered Merlin, sighing. But I know a guy. Merlin, Nemo, and Dory hit a ride across the ocean with their old friends, Crush the turtle. When they arrived in Morro Bay, they found themselves surrounded by rubbish. This feels familiar, said Dory. Dory suddenly remembered something else when she had first lost her parents. She asked the crabs that lived here for help. Just then, a giant squid appeared out of nowhere and chased Merlin, Nemo, and Dory. The trio swam as fast as they could to escape. After they had escaped the clutches of the squid, Merlin was upset. Nemo had almost been badly hurt. Dory tried to comfort Nemo, but in his moment of worry, Merlin snapped at her. Go wait over there and forget, Merlin said. It's what you do best. Dory was sad that she had upset Merlin. She was determined to make it up to him, so she swam off to look for help. Just then Dory heard a loud voice in the distance saying, Welcome to the Marine Life Institute, where we believe in rescue, rehabilitation, and release. Dory swam to the surface and Merlin and Nemo caught up with her. Guys, I found help, Dory cried. Look out, yelled Merlin. As a boat appeared behind Dory, she was scooped up by a human and carried away. Don't worry, Dory. A panicked Merlin called after her. Stay calm. We will come and find you. The next thing Dory knew, she had tacked clip to her fin and was dropped into a tank. Suddenly an octopus appeared. He had one tentacle missing. He was a septopus. He reached one of his long tentacles towards Dory. Name's Hank, he said. Hank explained that Dory was in quarantine and the tag was a transport tag. It meant she was going to an aquarium in Cleveland. Cleveland? Gasped Dory. No, I can't go to the Cleveland. I have to get the jewel of Morro Bay, California. That's this place, said Hank. The Marine Life Institute, the jewel of Morro Bay, California. You are here. Hank wanted Dory's orange tag so that he could go and live on his own in the glass tank in Cleveland. He didn't like living with other fish. Dory explained that she needed to find her parents, so Hank grumpily agreed to a deal. He would help Dory, then she would give him the tag. Hank scooped Dory up into a water-filled coffee pot and they set off. Hank carried Dory to a map of MLI, the Marine Life Institute. Dory spotted a purple shell on the map, which caused another memory to pop into her head. She remembered that her mother had loved purple shells. Dory remembered collecting shells as a child. Her parents had used the shells to make a path to lead Dory back home if she ever got lost. Dory snapped out of her memory and saw an MLI staff walking by carrying a bucket. Hank hid, but Dory read the word on the bucket. It said Destiny. Get into that bucket, so she did. Hank followed as fast as he could as she was carried away. Now, this is the first part of the Finding Dory. We conclude the next part in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Take care.